When something works, it's human nature to do more of it. Sort of, if that's working, people double down on it. But the problem with that is that all of the marketing is being doubled down, tripled on, and quadrupled down on, that we're getting too much of it. You know, today we have do not call lists. You're not allowed to call people at home. You're not allowed to call them on their cell phone. We have do not text me lists. We have do not email me lists. We have do not fax me lists. We have gated communities, no solicitation, no door knocking. And a lot of it is due to the fact that we've overdone something. People feel inundated. People feel overwhelmed by the amount of marketing and solicitation that's going on. So I understand why they feel the way they do. Like, I grew up making cold calls. We didn't have any of the do not call laws that you guys all have today. And it's a result really of, you know, everything sped up. It got to the point where, yes, cold calling works. So what did our industry do along with everybody else's industry? They went and got auto dialers so they could dial hundreds of people an hour and leave messages on everybody's phone. Got to the point where people, like, they didn't even want to answer the phone anymore. And you know what I'm talking about. It was at one point there, it was like you get 6 calls a night from people who were telemarketing you, and they weren't even from your town. It just didn't even feel right. So I understand why we are where we are. But what's the solution? The solution today is permission-based marketing. You want people to want what you have. So it starts out with understanding why the consumer feels the way they do, being aware of the problem that exists, and then the solution that you need to apply to achieve your objective. So time is a scarce resource today. Think about, and I said it earlier, you go down to the mailbox, you take out the mail, and you know, you've got all that stuff. You don't have time to read all that stuff. What do you do when you go by the garage? You go past the blue box, you go zing, 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 zing. Oh, I'll save that. Zing, zing, zing. I'll save that. You've got Chinese menus. You've got restaurants for pizza. You've got people who want to clean your gutters, steam clean your carpets, and the list goes on and on and on. People don't have enough time to go through all of this. Time's really scarce. So I need you to understand that. That's the first point I want to make. The second one is people are overwhelmed by the amount of marketing. You know, it's been said the average person has over 1 million marketing impressions a year, if you can imagine that, between social media, television, magazines, radio, and I can go on and on and on. How are you as a professional, as a business person, going to cut through all of that clutter? Well, if you want people's attention, what you want to get is their permission. So my first suggestion is pick a farm area. And we'll talk more about that in a minute, but I like an area that I live in, because right away when I knock on somebody's door, I'm not knocking on their door finding out if they want to sell their house. I'm knocking on their door, introducing myself as a neighbor, a local real estate professional, a person who considers themselves an area expert, and I sell real estate for. So it's much harder to throw a neighbor off the front porch, let's put it that way, because you already share something in common. So they tend to be a little nicer to you. The question you really want to ask, and you'll hear me talk about this, is you want to make that connection. You want them to know you're a local expert. You want them to understand that they have a big investment in their house, and you'd like to know if they'd like to keep up to date from time to time on what's happening in the marketplace at a local level, what houses are selling for, how quickly, and how their investment is increasing. And why that's important is because you're going to get their attention and you're going to get their permission, because it's something that's important to them. Your marketing needs to be anticipated. So once you make that connection, then you have to be consistent, meaning that I'm looking forward to getting your market report every month because I want to know what Bob got for his house, and it needs to be relevant. Sending me something that I have no interest in is of no value to me. If you want me to remember you, you want me to make a connection to you, you want me to wave at you as you're out walking your dog saying, hey, there's our real estate agent, even though I've never sold a house with you. What you need to do is have relevant material consistently delivered on schedule, so I anticipate it's coming. I want to see what you got to say. I want to hear what's happening in the marketplace. This is important to me. See, you're sending me something I want. It's really that simple. Now, if you don't specialize, let me give you a little warning. You'll become a commodity. I mean, if you're not good at anything, then nobody really wants to do business with you. Think of it this way. If I was to ask you a question, who makes more money, a family physician or a specialist? And what are you going to tell me? The specialist. And I'm going to ask you, why does the specialist make more money? Why does the surgeon make more money? And you're going to say, because they specialize in something. People will pay more when the quality of the work and the attention to detail is significantly greater. That's the essence of this. So if you're just an average real estate agent, I can get an average real estate agent anywhere. There's like thousands of them around. But what I have a hard time finding is somebody who's exceptional, somebody who's excellent. When you're really good at what you do, the world will come looking for you. And the question won't be about price. of your impression won't be about commissions. It'll be about what can you get me for my house? How quickly will it take to sell? What services will you be using? Now, I'm not saying they're not going to ask you about commission, but commission isn't going to be the issue because they already know they're hiring somebody who's exceptional, that they didn't call looking for somebody who was cheap. So specialize or be prepared to make a heck of a lot less money. How do you get a prospect's permission? Well, I told you, the first thing I would do is I would pick my farm area. I would knock on people's doors. I would introduce them with some sort of cheaper keeper to kind of break the ice. You don't know what a cheaper keeper is? Fridge magnet, calendar, bottle opener, corkscrew, whatever it is. Say, hey, I'm local. I live in the neighborhood. I live down the street. Wanted to give you this, introduce myself as a local expert. I'll be in touch with you on a regular basis if you would like to find out what's happening with the value of real estate. We'll talk a little bit back and forth. The other thing you can do when people come into your open house is you want to offer incentives in terms of raffles and stuff like that to be able to get their contact details. Most of all, I want permission to talk to you again about real estate. That's all I'm looking for.